Welcome to the Kelly Cardenas podcast, where attitude is everything. On today's show, I rescheduled and then I messed up. Dominique called me the other day and she said, yo, I'm ready for the podcast. And I was thinking, I'm on the beach right now. So I felt so bad. But our conversation after the last time of technical difficulties was probably one of the most impactful conversations that we had ever had. Let me get the particulars out of the way so you know exactly who Dominique Murphy is. She's a 3-time Emmy Award-winning TV personality, was the recipient of the 2020 National Salute to Excellence Award by the National Association of Black Journalists. She is a top rated keynote speaker, a celebrity MC, and was crowned Miss Virginia American 2020. And she was voted, this is my favorite, most photogenic of 2021. But she's also the co-founder of the Luxure Group and the founder of Media Mastery Now. I said, she's going to get mad at me on this. And the best thing is that she's a mother, a wife, and an absolute joy and light to this world. So welcome to the show, Miss Dominique Murphy.
Goodness, I don't know where to start, Kelly. I mean, the music coming in, I was vibing. I'm like, this is your walkout song. This is great. It's an honor to be here. You know what they say, third time's a charm. So we are here. We're making it happen. You didn't tell me you were on the beach, though, last time. So there you go. I was in the snow, freezing, and you were on the beach. Good on you, my friend.
Well, I thought it was incredible because a lot of times people at your level, is those of you who are watching, or if you're listening to me, you already heard me say that she's a 3-time Emmy Award-winning TV personality. You could see him behind her right now, but most of the time when people experience the levels of success that you have, they don't have the tendency to treat people at the level that they did before those trophies came into play. And I want to compliment you because whether it's on air or off air, it's in the, in the hallway at a convention or just speaking, you look people in their eye, you look them into their soul, and you take time for them, which I think is amazing. How have you mastered that art?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you for that nice statement. You know, none of this matters. I'm just gonna be super transparent with you. That's metal on a shelf. For years, I actually didn't even put them up, and people kept saying, you should show them behind you. You should put them behind you. So they're there because people say I should put them behind me. For years, they were in boxes under my bed. Honestly, my Mrs. Virginia American crown and sash, they're in a box in my closet. Metal, trophies, sashes, crowns, they're just tangible things that we don't take with us. They don't define who we are. Oftentimes, Kelly, when I meet people, I say, tell me about yourself. What's your story? And they give me bullet points off of their resume. And I say, no, I don't care about that. Who are you? Like, who are you really? And so Dominique is beyond all the stuff that people think is cool. I'm a student. Okay. Forever lifelong student. I am a thirsty learner, and I always want to be that way. I never want to be the person who thinks that I have it all figured out, because I never will. And that keeps my mind sharp because I always want to grow. I always want to learn from all walks of life. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was pregnant with my first child, I was in a grocery store, and this stranger came up to me. I'll never forget it. I was in the produce section. I was picking out a lime, and she comes over to me, and I was visibly pregnant at the time. And she said, congratulations. And I looked up, and she said, your child is going to be your greatest teacher. And I looked at her, and I kind of said, okay. Like, weirdo. Didn't understand what that meant at the time. And fast forward, my child was born, and nothing could be more true. I mean, this woman was right. And I'll never forget the way she looked. I remember it so vividly, like it was yesterday. And she said, your child will become your greatest teacher. So in life, your teachers, we always look at teachers as like, oh, they have to be older and more experienced and have more accolades than me. No, they don't. Your greatest teachers can come in any walk of life, any shape, anything. And so for me, bar none, my children have been my greatest teachers. They've taught me about discipline, about love, about time, about attention, about detail, about just stopping and being present and in the moment. When my oldest was little, he used to sit in front of the washing machine, and at the time had a machine that went around like this, and he would just watch it, and he would laugh and laugh. And one day I said, I'm going to sit there and do that. And I sat next to him and I just watched the clothes go around and around. And we had one of the best moments I can ever remember, just sitting there laughing. And this is one thing about children, they get it right because they're in the moment, they're present. It's the simple things, whether it's clothing going around in a dryer, or they'll find a leaf on the ground and it's the coolest thing ever, right? It's the simple things in life. But as time goes on, we get distracted, and what we perceive to be success changes. My definition of success is very similar to the Earl Nightingale methodology. If you guys don't know who Earl Nightingale is, please, 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 please go buy a book called The Strangest Secret. It's one of my top 3 books of all time. You can read it in like 2 hours. It's very, very quick read. But he talks about being present and, being in the moment. And that is what it's all about for me. It's being present, being in the moment, and learning from our greatest teachers. Yeah.
So Dominique, probably one of the biggest things for me was when we met at Secret Knock. I got a chance to see you from stage, and it was generally I don't like to start my relationship that way, meaning that I was in the crowd, you were on stage, I see you, and I mean, you're phenomenal. You're interviewing people, you're drawing the best out of them. You're the one that's the star, but you're drawing everything out of everybody else. It's almost like you dimmed the light on yourself and turned it right on to everybody else. And the reason why I say I don't like to meet people that way is because a lot of times then I meet their stage personality. But when I approached you afterwards and you signed a book, and I have it right here with me. Oh, it was upside down. I have it right here with me. And there's 2 reasons why this means so much to me. And every one of you that is watching, you can see the book there. It's called Reset 2 and Attitude is Everything. There's 2 reasons why it means so much, is because this inside. I stopped and I asked you, can you sign this? But can you sign it not to me? Can you sign it to my daughter? You wrote, hi, McKenna. You said, McKenna, hi, lovely. Wishing you nothing but the very best. Keep smiling. And remember, attitude is everything. XO, Dominique Murphy. And number 1, you hit me because it's my daughter. Number 2, for everyone out there listening, we started the show for 170. This is 171 episodes. Attitude is everything. And I've never met anybody who continued to, I mean, you have it actually on the book. So maybe you trademarked it before me. I apologize for that. Can you talk to us about this concept that attitude is everything?
Yeah. It started with my husband. He used to always say, Dominique, attitude is everything. Attitude is everything. And essentially what this means, I'm going to get really deep with your audience here. It means that you are in control 24/7. 24/7, 365, you are in control, whether or not you choose to believe it. And I use the word choose because it is a choice. I can honestly choose to feel bad, or I can choose to feel good no matter what anyone says to me. You can say, oh, you're this, you're this, you're this, and throw all kinds of negativity at me. And I can choose to accept it. And the mechanism is usually feeling bad about yourself when someone does that. But that's living in a state of blame. That's living in a state of justification. There's a famous line, actually, again, coined by my husband. He's the one I learned this from. And he said 95% of people live below the line in blame, shame, and justification. Only 5% of people live above the line in accountability and responsibility. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, do I want to be a victim, or do I want to be a victor? Do I want to be accountable and responsible for my actions, or do I want to blame other people for my circumstances? That's what attitude is all about. I've had so many stories in my life. People always say, oh my gosh, it must have been really easy for you. You're so lucky. I get that a lot, right? And I always tell people, I'm like, there's no luck involved. Yes, I'm blessed, but there's no luck involved at all whatsoever. There's a lot of grind and loss and setbacks and getting kicked in the face and standing back up over and 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 over again. That is the recipe to ultimate success. And I do want to segue back, Kelly, because I didn't get a chance to finish my thought about the success story with Earl Nightingale, right? Success is what you make of it. People use the term success and they think, oh, it's money or fame or a certain job title, certain car. That is not success. Success is what you define success to be. There are so many people that have the glitz and glam who are absolutely miserable that we see all the time ending their lives because they're so broken and there's something missing. So we often say, oh, they had it all, right? You hear a story of someone, ending their life and we say, oh, well, why would they do that? They had it all. No, we perceived that they had it all, but really they had nothing in their own mindset. That's why they did not want to be here anymore. So cars do not bring you joy. TVs, houses, whatever, vacations, they do not bring you joy. It starts from within. So you have to define what success is for you. Earl Nightingale, and I love this, he talks about like a wife and a mother. If you choose to be a wife and a mother and you love it and that's what you want to do, then you are a massive success story. If you want to be a high school teacher teaching math because you love it and you love to see children go from A to Z in the quickest way possible under your tutelage, that's a massive success story. Success is whatever you deem it, whatever you want it to be. So as long as you define success in your own realm, like what is it for you? No two people are the same. No two people really want the same thing when you really break it down strategically. So when it comes to success, define your own success story. Once you have that, understand that attitude's everything. You're never going to go down this primrose path where everything is perfect and everything works out your way. Unfortunately, that's not how life works. Life is full of setbacks, right? But I like to say if you're paying attention, your setback is your setup. If you're paying attention. The problem, Kelly, is most people when they fail, and I hate the word failure. I don't like it at all because failure is not a failure by the way we define it. A failure is an opportunity or a lesson to get better if you are paying attention. So the thing is, when you fail, look at that as a badge of honor because number one, it means you put yourself out there. It means you tried. It means you were willing to do something that probably 90% of other people wouldn't do. They wouldn't be willing to do because they're scared of what? Judgment, criticism, success, failure, right? You put yourself out there. So that in itself is a massive, massive badge of honor. Attitude is everything. When things don't go your way, you can choose to feel bad about yourself. But what does that do? Makes you feel bad about yourself. It makes you question yourself. It makes you think that you're not good enough or worthy enough, when in actuality, you're just as worthy as everybody else. In this world, we look at people and we perceive them as like, oh, this person's more successful or they're better or they're this or they're that. There's no such thing. And I'm here to tell you there's literally every single person on this planet is equal, in my opinion. There is no they're better or I'm worse. No, the only difference, we're all ordinary, is that certain people choose every single day to take extraordinary steps to be excellent. And that's the only difference. Some people choose to stay in bed and say, oh, woe me, poor me. And other people decide to get up and say, you know what, there's more for me. What is the lesson here? What do I want to be? What am I going to accomplish? Our life is really short, right? When you really think about it. And one day we won't be here anymore. So when you start to focus on what really matters, all of a sudden, the thing we're chasing that we perceive to what we think is going to make us happy, we have to reverse it and say, you know what? It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. How can I be happy today? Like if today was my last day, would I be able to say I lived a very fulfilled day, that I had a great day, that I told my family, my kids that I love them, that I did something for myself that made my heart happy? Are you able to do that? Viktor Frankl, again, another person, if you don't know who that is, please look up Viktor Frankl. Man's Search for Meaning is a phenomenal book. He, long story short, Holocaust survivor, and his whole family was part of this awful, awful time in our history. And he lost everything. I'll just leave it at that. He lost everything. And the one thing he said that people could never take away from him was his mindset. He said, no matter what anyone did, no matter what anyone said, And again, I'll reiterate what anyone did, he chose to feel positive in the midst of absolute destruction. He chose to do that because it's a choice. You can choose, as I mentioned earlier, to feel bad, or you can choose to feel good. It is literally the one thing you have control over. It's your power, it's your attitude. I can be negative. I can be super negative. What does that do? It's like taking poison and hoping that someone else gets sick. It doesn't make any sense. So choose to feel good. Choose to feel good.
So Dominique, a thing too that I read that blew my mind that you had wrote was that there was a difference between aspiration and goals. Can you elaborate on this? Because I think that so many people get caught up in, especially we just turned over a new year. And I even got asked the other day for an article, how can I crush my goals in 2022? And I said, be weary of crushing anything because you're going to injure other things in your life. So help us to understand the difference between aspiration and goal.
Yeah, aspirations are like the fire. Let's just put it like that. Aspirations are the things deep in your soul that set it on fire when you say it out loud. And for most people, they're not able to say it out loud because they're so scared of what people will say. Well, if I tell people I want to earn this much money, what will they think? If I say it out loud, what if it doesn't happen and then people laugh at me because it didn't happen and I was so excited that I thought I could make it happen, on and on and on. The aspiration is deep within. A goal is short term, right? I have a goal. My goal at the beginning of this year was I'm going to work out every day. Yeah, no, didn't happen. Because there wasn't that fire behind it, right? You get tired, you get complacent, you get busy, you have kids, things get in the way, and you're like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll get to it, right? So goals are, they're fine, right? But I like to say aspire. Like, what is that thing? Okay. And it goes back to 2 points, the it and the why. When we talk about our aspirations, it's the it and it's the why. And every person needs to be able to define these. What is it? What is it that sets your soul on fire? And everyone knows what this is. Half of the people are afraid to say it out loud, but you know what it is. Like, if you could be anything, do anything in the world, what would it be? What would it be? I have to tell your audience this, Kelly. So I have 2 affirmations on my bathroom mirror, and they're written on index cards. I've had them on my bathroom for 15 years. Anytime I move, I peel them off, and the first thing I do is I stick them on my bathroom mirror, and I say them every morning, every night. An affirmation is when you face yourself and you say a statement over and over again. Well, one of my affirmations is a quote by Charles Kettering, and it says, "Act as though it were impossible to fail." Act as though it were impossible to fail. If you were not afraid of failure, and again, I put it in air quotes, if you were not afraid of failure, what would you do? Like, what would you do? If you weren't afraid of what I would think of you, or your parents would think of you, or your children, or your spouse, what would you do? Right? What would you do? And think about that. That's the it. Because you're going to figure it out pretty quickly. And you're like, well, I would love to do this, but get the butt out of there, right? What is it? The second affirmation, it just says, why not you? Why not you? We make up a million excuses every day, most of us, as to why we can't do something. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't have the spouse. I don't have the connections. I don't have the look. I don't. That's called playing small. Why don't you focus on what you do have, right? Hopes, dreams, ambitions. You have so many gifts that people out there would kill to have. Every single person who can hear the sound of my voice falls into that category. So why not you? So once you figure out what the it is, then you have to define what your why is. Because once you know it, the why is what you have to find next. The why is, why do you care? So you know what would set your soul on fire? That sounds awesome, but why do you want this? Why? Is it because you're doing it for your family? Is it because of your children? Is it because you want to be the first in your family to do something? Is it because you want to prove to yourself that it's possible? Is it because you want to show people who look like you that it can happen for them too? What is it? What's the driving force? Because when things get tough, and when on any journey, whether you want to be an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur, entrepreneur, doesn't matter. On the journey called life, there are always times where we hit these roadblocks. And when you've already defined your it and your why, that why will see you through every single time. I have my why on my phone, my screenshot, right? It's my family. Because whenever I feel like, oh, I'm having a really hard day, and I want to be truly transparent, I have hard days too. I have rough days and hard days and days where I'm complacent and just don't want to work. And I just want to crawl in my bed. And, I'm with you. But when you have those days, you want to focus on the why. The why is what gets you up every single time. Put it on your phone as a lock screen. Because what do we always look at? We have our phones with us pretty much 24/7, it feels like, in today's world. Put your why on your phone. Because then when you want to make an excuse and you look down, it's going to wake you back up quickly. So when you aspire, it's deep. Have those aspirations, define what they are, write them down. Not up here, write it physically down. I aspire to achieve. And I want you to write it as if you've already claimed it. Okay. A lot of people want, I want to do this. My goal is I want to do this. If you want to do it, a year from now, you're going to want to do it. Claim it. I am so happy and grateful that I have achieved fill in the blank by fill in the blank date. Put it in writing. Because there's something energetically that happens when you take pen to paper and you physically write it down. So you have to aspire, dig deep, find the it, find the why, and just know that it's very, very possible.
Well, I think it's so profound in what it is that you're saying. And when I say profound, it's such a simple part of it as far as when you're talking about finding your it and finding your why. And I want to encourage every single person out there that most of the time when you see a Dominique based off of where we are, anyone listening that doesn't have 3 Emmys, Dominique, where she's sitting is a milestone. But what we need to get you to wrap your head around is a few inch stones. Celebrate a few inch stones. You woke up today. Yay. You had breath in your lungs. Yay. My son, Maddox, like the other day or a couple years ago, he woke up and he said, I did it. And I said, what'd you do? And he said, I woke up. And this is the type of joy that I want to help you to understand, because with Dominique, when you're spending time with her, it's not just about her. Like, she's actually truly living this. And this is the reason why I wanted to have her on the show, is because she lives what she's talking about. So these aren't like mantras that she has that she says, if you do these things, they work out, hopefully. No, she did them, and then she's actually just sharing them with you. Can you talk to us about a couple of maybe rituals? Because people are always about rituals. And before I even go on to that, what I want to encourage everyone out there, when she was talking about finding your why or finding your it, I want you to realize that it doesn't have to be complicated. Your purpose doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be super deep. You don't have to change the world. You don't have to be the next Nelson Mandela. What I want you to realize is, for me, my why, Dominique, and I don't think I've shared this with you, my why is because I want to be able to have enough money that when I go to the carnival, I can play until I win. That's it. That's the only reason why I want to be successful. Because as a kid growing up in Lompoc, California, my mom would give us $3. And when we would get $3, we'd go to the fair. My brother would save some of his. He's smart. He would buy some food. He's smart. I would go to the games. And if you've ever been to a carnival, you cannot win with $3. You have to have a lot of money, and you have to play a lot. And that's the only reason why. And that's the part. Now, as I've gone along, yes, I mean, my wife, I love my wife. I love my kids. But in the back of my mind, getting me up in the morning is a carnival animal. It doesn't have to be so complicated. Make it simple, make it you, make it fun, and lock into it and commit to it. Rituals.
Love it.
So people talk about this all the time, right? They always say, like, I get up and I, do 10 jumping jacks and then I do whatever. I'm going to add something to your rituals because I want to know about them, but I'm going to add something to it, which is this bad boy here. These ones, my buddy came up with it, and it's called Squeeze Dried. It's one of the sponsors of the show. And this is the worst commercial of all time. But what I started drinking these, and I don't know if they do anything for my body, but what they do for my mind, I feel like I'm a better person because I have Squeeze Dried.
I need some.
So it's the little sticks, and you drop them in your water, fruit, vegetables that you can't eat or whatever it is. And I tell you, when I look at my wife different. After I've drank one of these, I'm like, you are lucky that you have a man that has changed the world because of Squeeze Dried. So, Dominique, I'm going to send you some of these.
I just spit out loud. I was laughing.
Talk to us about some of your rituals, of which you're going to add Squeeze Dried to.
Apparently, I need Squeeze Dry in my life. So, coming soon. What are my rituals? You know, we hear people often talk about like rituals, and again, my mission is to be really transparent with your audience, right? Because a lot of people are like, I get up, I look at the sun for 10 minutes and I do yoga for an hour and then and it's like, no, you don't, right? So what are my rituals? Gosh, what are my rituals? That's such a great question because I don't have anything that I do every single day. Oh, actually I do. There, I got one.
All right.
So I'm obsessed with my children. Okay. And my husband too. But like your kids, it's like, oh, right. I have 2 boys and they're young. So every morning, like we're really big on love in my family because everything in life comes and stems from love. If you want to be a success story, you want happiness, you want this, it all drives back to the word love. So every day, I love you. I love you. I love you. I probably tell my kids I love them at least, and I'm not even exaggerating, 30, 40 times a day. I'm always like, I love you, mom. I love you. I love you. And then when I bring my son to school, he is almost 4. We do affirmations in the car as we're driving. And so I'll say it first and he repeats it. So I'll say, I'm amazing. And he goes, I'm amazing. And I go, I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm brave. I'm brave. I love my mommy. I love my mommy. I'm smart. I'm smart. I'm good at school. And we go through all these affirmations, right? I can be anything I want to be because it starts really early. And so for me, my why, it changes in life, just so everyone knows. So your why today may not be your why tomorrow or next month or next year or 5 years. When I became a parent, my why changed. My why is to raise 2 amazing young boys who understand that number 1, they'll never be victims in this world. And number 2, that they understand how incredible that they are and their ability to do whatever it is that they want to in this lifetime. That's my why. Like, how cool is that? Like, I can leave this planet happy knowing my kids understand how incredible they are and the impact they have on the world. So that's my why. And that's what drives me every single day. So from a ritual standpoint, like, you know, I try to drink lemon water, like hot lemon water in the mornings. It happens like once a week, but I always intend to do it, but it just usually doesn't happen. At night, no, nothing crazy. So I love you and the love for the kids for sure. But other than that, I don't have a regular ritual that I do. Oh, no, I do. The affirmations. I do my affirmations morning and night. Okay. We went over that, the 2 that I have in my bathroom. So, but yeah, nothing crazy or wild.
Well, I love the fact that you're honest with it because I think a lot of times in a methodology world, right? In a methodology world, a lot of times, as opposed to a person living in that moment, like you were talking about before, staying present, then they're so focused on the ritual part of it. They're so focused on it that they think that that's the power. And what I want you to realize is, I mean, for me, there's 3 things. Number 1, be really kind. Contribute to every single person. Number 2, make a lot of friends. If you make friends, you don't have to be good at things. And I'm going to show you why you don't have to be good at media and why you don't have to be good at PR, why you don't have to be good at marketing, because you know Dominique now, and we're going to get into this. But the 3rd thing is just stay curious. I was so curious when you said one statement to me in our last conversation. Actually, yeah, it was our last conversation that we talked. You said, when I work with someone, if you win, then I win. And then you came close and you said, and I don't lose. Let's go into the professional side of Dominique, which blows my mind too, because most people in your position, 3 Emmys, Miss Virginia American 2020. You're getting all these awards. Most people make it about themselves, but you turned it around and said, you know what? I'm going to make everybody else. I'm going to connect everybody else through my relationships and through the things that I do. And when you were telling me about it, you were telling me that, you know, if you were to go into wanting to get on a TV show, let's call it whatever TV show that you wanted to, the highest rated ones, You were telling me it'll take you years to be able to find out who the people are. And you said, for me, it takes a couple of seconds because I roll through my phone and then I call my friend who I can make it happen. Talk to us a little bit about this, because the marketing, whether it be the marketing, the PR, and we're going to separate those two because I want the audience to understand the difference between the two. And then there's media, the media training, the understanding. If you haven't already guessed, guys, Dominique didn't say like I did earlier. She was counting them off. I saw her marking them down earlier and being like, yo, I'm going to work with Kelly on this one. Can you talk to us about this side? Because I just think it's so fascinating.
Of course. So the side of media, of PR, I just want to make sure I'm understanding what direction, or the when you win, I win, and I don't lose. Which one?
Well, let's go to the statement, the powerful statement. I mean, and you looked at me, and we were virtual, but you looked me in my eyes, and it wasn't like this mantra that you said. No, you were telling me if I win, or Kelly, you said if you win, then I win. And you looked at me and you were like, and I don't lose. Like you were going to punch me in my face.
Right.
Talk to me about this mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. When someone becomes a client of mine, they become an investment of mine. And so for years working on the TV side, people kept coming up to me going, Dominique, can you help me? Can you help me? Can you help me? Can you show me? Can you teach me? Well, how? And for a while I thought, do people really want to know this information? Do they really need this kind of help? And that's where Media Mastery was born, because for years, people kept saying, how do you do it? I want to do what you're doing. I want to learn how to do this, from whether it's the media side or from the PR, public relations, placement side. I kept getting asked, how do you do it? What I found often was people were not advocated for. They would join a PR firm, for instance, and they would be a number, and they'd get a call once in a blue moon if they got picked up, and it wasn't really what they wanted. It wasn't the direction they were going because nobody was advocating for them. Even myself in my career, there were times where I had representatives of me who weren't advocating on my behalf. And I remember going, but I want this, and I feel like I'm ready for this and this and this. And it was just easy to not place somebody in the things that they wanted. So I said, we need to create something that's different, where we're advocating for the people we work with, because nobody in the media space that I know of is doing that at all. So Media Mastery was born, but I wanted to build it on a philosophy that if I was the client coming in, what would I want to know? Right? I would want to know that whomever is aligned with me, I'm taking your hand and I'm like, I got you. Like, I got you. I do not lose. And if you come with me, when you win, I win, because that's a win for me. Like, your win is my win, because I can say, look what Kelly did. Look what we just did for Kelly. That's a massive win for me. And I refuse, Kelly, to lose. So I'm that person. I will work the 25th hour of the day, I'll figure it out to make sure that you're a success story, because that speaks to who I am as a person. So when you win, I don't lose. When you win, I don't lose. It's an investment, right? And I don't say investment like money. I say investment. You now are a part of me, right? If you come on board, you become a part of me and my story. And I want to make sure that you are highly, highly successful in everything that you do. So, that's the win. It's not about, and again, I think as you grow as a person, right? Not even age, but as a person, as you grow, you change. I'm not about, Dominique, screw everyone else, right? Like, that's not what I'm about. I know there's a lot of people out there who want to get into media and they don't understand it. They're like, how do you do it? How do you do it? Where do you start? Who do you call? Do you call them? And who's them? Like, what do I do? Is there an email? Do I send a letter? Like, do I mail it? Do I email it? What do I say, dear sir? Do I say their name? Do I? It's like a remix. Do I? And I'm like, it's like, people just can't figure it out. And I've been in the business for over 20 years, so I really get it. I understand it as someone who's worked on the inside as well as the outside. And it's a very different approach. So yes, do I have a lot of connections? Of course. That just comes with time, being in the business for a very long time. You build these relationships, and media is 100% relationship based. It is. because when people trust you, they trust your judgment. They trust that you're going to bring value and quality content. And when you have a track record of doing so, then that trust factor is made even stronger, right? So if I'm going to a media publication, let's say, and I've worked with them many times before, and I say, hey, let me tell you about Kelly. Let me tell you about so-and-so, right? They're going to say, oh, cool, let me take a look, right? As opposed to if it was a cold call saying, hey, you don't know who I am, but let me tell you about this. It's a very different approach. So you talked about being kind. That's a big part of it. You have to be approachable. You have to be kind. You have to build relationships. Those relationships take time. And as you do that, it's one of the coolest things to be able to open doors for other people as well. Like I just get so much joy out of it. There's an old, I think it's a proverb that talks about the giver and the receiver. Who's really the giver and who's really the receiver? Right now, the context of that statement was typically if you give to like someone who's homeless, like who's really receiving? Because if you give, you actually feel really good. So maybe you're not the giver, maybe you're actually the receiver. And so in life, when you are a teacher, if you will, when you're helping other people achieve their goal, they hit it, they're like, yes. But then you're also like, yes, we did it. So you're also the receiver. So it's a great feeling all around. But yeah, that's how I'd answer your question, Kelly.
So take us behind the scenes too, Dominique, because when people look at media, right, they're, a person, say they write a book or they've got a program or they've got a company that is absolutely phenomenal, but no one knows about it. And they have dreams or aspirations. Like maybe now I'm going to say they have a goal or they have a want. Because if they had the aspiration, then they would just go and get online right now.
They would have called me already.
Exactly. They would get online right now. They would go to MediaMastery.com and then...
MediaMasteryNow.com.
Now, MediaMasteryNow.com. But don't do the other one because you won't find Dominique. But find Dominique with MediaMasteryNow.com. And it would be as simple as that. You would get a hold of her. You would connect with her. And, life would be different. But a lot of people... before maybe the podcast, or maybe they didn't know about it. And they think, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep working. And then Oprah's going to call me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to kind of be out of the blue. She's going to call me and everything's going to work out. And I can tell you, I've had this thought for a long time, but for a while, for like 20 years, I've been like, Oprah has been busy. So she hasn't called me. You know what I mean? Can you take us behind the scenes of the construction of something like that to be able to get you in the right place with the right audience?
Yeah, I love it. So building authority, that's what everybody wants at the end of the day. If you are a personal brand or a business, you want to be seen, you want to be known, you want to be heard, you want to be an authority. So that's the word we're really hitting on, right? That everyone wants to be. I want to be that person. I'm speaking as someone else, right? I want to be that person that when people look up fitness instructor or real estate expert or whatever your niche is, you pop up. You're the person who comes to mind. You're the person people think of. You're the person, if people don't even know who you are and they find you, they're like, I have to work with this person right here. It's all based on authority. And so I want to give everyone a formula because media is super confusing. And so I'm going to try to break it down here in the time that we have. Visibility is your number one focus. People focus on money all the time. I want to make money. I want to make money. No, the only people who make money work in a mint. The rest of us must earn money. And the way we earn it is by providing products and services that are needed and useful, right? So earn. You don't make money, you earn money. So when it comes to earning money, that's the last thing I want you to think about. Okay, so I'm going to reverse engineer here everyone's mindset because a lot of people are focused on the money. No, focus on visibility. How can I be seen? How can I be heard? Every day, that's your new mantra when you wake up. How can I be seen? How can I be heard? Do something every day where you are seen and where you are heard. We now live in an amazing world where we have these devices called phones because on our phone, we can access social media. And on those social media platforms, there is no reason why you should not be seen and or heard every single day. So whether it's a post, a motivational quote, whether you're going live, whether you're posting a video, it doesn't matter. You want to be relevant. Visibility. How can I be seen? How can I be heard is the number one thing. By way of media is how you 10x it, right? So you want to get into the media, podcasts, radio, magazines, newspapers, television. Hello, television. The big five: TV, radio, magazines, newspapers, and podcasts. So how can you get into those as well? It's the visibility that equals credibility. Visibility equals credibility. And that credibility equals profitability. So let me give you an example. If I was to say right now, I want everybody to think of an auto insurance company. Just think of one off the top of your head. You thought of one like that, right? Whether it's, I don't know if I can say them on here, but you thought of one. I know they're sponsors, so we're not going to even say them. You thought of an auto insurance company. And there's a lot of them out there.
You can say it, and then that way they'll be a sponsor next time, Dominique. Say it. What one came to your mind?
So whether it's State Farm or Geico or Aflac or Farmers or Progressive, let's just keep it going, right? Hey, five sponsors for you.
I'm here. Aaron Rodgers. Right? Aaron Rodgers, this is your next spot right here. Patrick Mahomes, let's go.
I love it. Patrick is amazing. But so here's the deal, right? You thought of a company like that, and there's no one from one of those companies here right now advocating on behalf of the company, but you thought of them. Why? Because they're visible. And because they're visible, they're credible. So let's take that story a step further. If I was to say I just started a new auto insurance company, it's called Domes Auto. Yeah. Right? It's Domes Auto, and it's phenomenal. It is like it is better than any of them out there. It is like the best company that you will find. It's called Domes Auto. Kelly, do you want to buy Domes Auto? You're going to say, oh my gosh, that's amazing, Dominique. Congratulations. But when push comes to shove and when this call ends, you're going to go with the company that you know. And the reason why, not that there's anything against Domes Auto, you just don't really know Domes Auto. You haven't heard about it. You haven't seen anything on it. There's no testimonials. You don't know anything about Domes Auto. And it's not worth the risk for something that's probably the same price or even just a little bit less. You're like, I'd rather just go with these guys. It's a comfort factor. And that comfort comes from visibility. So you have to ask yourself, how can I be visible? Because the more people see me and hear me, the more people are going to want to align with me and my brand, my credibility. They'll see it, right? That visibility equals credibility. And because that company was credible, what do they get? Your money. So profitability. So visibility equals credibility equals profitability. That's the way to break it down. Once you understand that, when it comes to breaking into the media, the reason why like 90+% of people are not successful is because there's three things that you have to crush it. Crush it. What was your saying about crushing it? Now I'm like, I use that.
Well, you can't crush something without injuring something else, right?
I love that. And yeah, it's true.
I mean, it was just a quick one, which was they asked me how to crush your goals in 2020, and I said, or 2022, and what I was saying is beware of crushing your goals. Be aware of your vision. Because your vision is what will take you places. Your goals are just going to change all the time, and think of them as inch stones as we go. So go.
Okay. So 3 things if you want to be amazing.
No, say crush it. That's Dominique. You said it.
Crush it. Yeah.
Own it. Yeah. I like crush it too.
So if you want to crush it in the media, there's 3 things, and most people don't know this, right? The way most people go about media is they take cooked spaghetti, and they throw it at the wall, and they hope that something sticks. They're like, I don't know, just send out something about I did this thing, and maybe someone will call me. And then no one calls them, and they're like, why did no one call me? There's so many pieces to it, okay? But my job is to simplify all this for every client that I work with. So there's in broad terms, there's 3 things. You have to have a story. Stories are everything. People don't buy products. They don't. Contrary to popular belief, people buy people, and people buy passion, and people and passion are based on a story. So what is your story? That goes back to the why. What is it? Who are you? What's your story? And if, you want extra points, what are your stories? Have multiple stories that you can pull from. What's your story, right? You have to have a story. You have to have a game plan, and you have to have strategy. So story, game plan, strategy. That's how you master the media. It's 3 very specific things that you must have. You must have a story. And if someone says, what's your story? It cannot be bullet points off of a resume. I can't stress that enough. Don't say, oh, I've done this. I have this award. I did this. I did this. I did this. It needs to be bullet points off of, or excuse me, it needs to not be, my thing's dinging. It needs to not be bullet points on a resume. It needs to be a storyline. So have a story. When it comes to your game plan, it's very strategic. Okay. Who are you targeting? What is your message? And so this is where the authority part breaks down, because we have to start at like square one, right? Step one. A lot of people want to start at step 25 and go beyond because they think they have everything worked out. Oh, my brand's there. It's good. Oh, my message is clear. It's great. It's this, it's this. And then my team and I go in and we look under the hood of the car per se. And we're like, oh no, we need to start back here, right? And that's for most people because they've never gone through this type of process before. So what is your brand? How are we going to position you? What are you going to speak to? What can you speak to? What are you good at? There's so many pieces from a positioning standpoint first, because to thine own self be true. If we don't know who you are, how am I going to market you appropriately? How am I going to get you the right media outlets? Because again, you don't want to just say, I'll take whatever. No, it needs to be strategic. What's your ultimate end result? Like, what do you want to hit? Is your goal to be a national contributor? Is your goal just to get on publications that are top tier? Is your goal mid tier? You don't even care. You just want some press. What is it? Because everyone is actually different. I have clients who want television. I have clients who are like, no TV at all, right? So what is it that you want to achieve? Because you have to build a roadmap. It's not a let's just guess and see and whatever. It's you should see our behind the scenes stuff. We build a full blown like strategies and roadmaps and charts and graphs, and it's all, we have a whole solution to get someone from A to Z in the quickest way possible. And then maintain that. So it's not just guess and check and let's maybe try this and maybe try that. Everything is very thought out, even down to how we send a pitch, right? There's a very strategic way that you send a pitch. Very few people know how to do one correctly. Very few people. So your first paragraph, for instance, needs to have your hook. Your hook essentially is a paragraph that causes the reader to lean in and say, tell me more. They want to know more. It has to do that in the first paragraph. It also has to tell them, why do they care? Why do they care? You have to explain that when you're trying to pitch yourself to the media. Why does the media care? Most people, when they send a pitch, the first paragraph is, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I've done this and this and this, and I wrote this book, and I'm great, and I've done this and this and this and this and this and this, and I think I would be great for your broadcast. And the person who receives that's like, they love themselves. That's great, but not what I'm looking for. You have to make it about them. Why do they care? Why does media care? Let's break it down. Media cares about one thing. They care about viewership. They want as many eyes, the visibility, right? They want as many eyes and ears on their program as possible. So it's all about, they want viewership. They want visibility. And why do they want visibility? Because that equates to advertising dollars. That equates to money. So the more people who are listening to you and watching you, the more money you can make. So that's what it's all about. That's what really life is when you look at business models, right? You go into business to be able to scale and grow and earn more money. So that's what companies are doing as well. So from a media standpoint, you have to understand that they want visibility. They want eyeballs on their brand. So how do you hack that, if you will? You have to provide that outlet with what their audience loves and knows, what their audience is looking for, because they want to keep their audience happy. That's what keeps that audience coming back, right? Because they trust that platform to give them the content that they know and love. So that platform has to keep producing similar stuff to make sure that their clients are happy. They retain their current clients, but they also continue to grow their audience as well. So once you know that, this goes back to the authority building, and we've positioned you, we know who you are. Now, without a shadow of a doubt, we know who we need to target specifically in order to get you the exposure that you're looking for.
I don't know a person on the earth that is listening to this right now that is not, give me the website again. So I'm going to tell you, MediaMasteryNow.com. Dominique Murphy. It's going across the screen if you're watching it, but if you're listening, you're like, you're salivating right now. Tell me, Dominique, who doesn't need this?
Who doesn't need this?
Who doesn't
Children,
need Dominique?
dogs.
Who doesn't need Dominique Murphy at the helm? I mean, because what you just broke down, I'm like, every person on earth, who doesn't need this?
Oh, I appreciate it. So it really depends on where you are in your journey. So we have clients all over the map. So some clients come in and they're at square one. And that's why two brands were born. Okay. So there's MediaMasteryNow.com, which you have so graciously said many times, Kelly, and I appreciate that. And that's America's premier media training agency. So we help you become an authority. We build storylines. So all the things I'm talking about sound overwhelming. We do everything. So we build out your entire storyline. Like I'll actually work with you directly to build your entire story out that will be of this quality. Wrong side. That will be of this quality to get, of this quality. So they're all award-winning level stories. So you'll end up with a story that actually speaks to a larger audience. We help you with your messaging, with your branding, with your positioning. We actually get you on television. Media Mastery has 3 specific programs. We have a program called our boot camp. That's for someone who's like, I just want to get my feet wet and just see. I don't really know if it's for me or not. It's our boot camp. It's going to show you how to write your pitch perfectly, how to get media exposure, all that stuff. Okay. We have a next level, which is our inner circle, right? Also our our full pass, right? Both programs. Those in particular are really geared toward helping you scale by way of media. So it's the first program on steroids, if you will. So if you're like, I'm really ready, we will actually break down every single thing that you need and you get lifetime access to it. That program is actually coming out here in the next week or so. And then our third program is our accelerator. So the accelerator sells out every single time. We're about to open the accelerator up again. And the accelerator is a 2-day live event when you work with me directly. You're going to fly into Tampa. We book out an entire television studio. We do training in the TV studio. You're going to get all of your assets because assets are everything. You have to have great headshots. You have to have great video if you really want to get picked up. On top of it, you want to leverage media opportunities that you already have. The problem is no one has these. So you're like, I want to go on TV. Well, the outlets are going to say, send me your reel. My what? Your reel. Well, I don't have one. Well, good luck. Right? Well, send me a really good headshot. Well, you might have that. Send me what you've done on television before. Well, I haven't yet because I'm new. Well, they don't care. So the accelerator was created to take you from A to Z in the quickest way possible because there's no one on the planet who does the accelerator. There isn't. That's why we created it. So in the course of 2 days, you walk away with a television segment. We actually put you on either NBC or CW in front of 1.8 million households. Okay, so you're massive visibility right away. Top 15 market, and I teach you how to speak the language. So when you look for that next opportunity and they say, well, what have you done? Oh, I've already appeared on NBC in a top 15 market. You say that, ears are going to open and doors are going to start opening for you. Okay. So we help you build that out. We build the entire resume out. We have all this training in the studio, all headshots, every asset you can think of that you would actually need. Our team builds all of that out for you over the course of 2 days. So like I said, the accelerator, as soon as we open it, it usually sells out. We do these a few times a year. So if you're watching this at a later date, make sure you go to MediaMasteryNow.com. You'll be able to find all the information for that here. But yeah, we have some exciting stuff on the horizon, but that's the media side of it. So to answer your question about who is it for, Luxure, the Luxure Group. So it's LUXURE group.com. It's a PR agency, but we call ourselves PR Plus because we do things a lot differently. Very high touch, very hands-on. Most PR agencies get you 3, if you're lucky, maybe 4 placements a month. Right?
The reason why I'm doing that is because when you're saying this, I was going to ask you this question because you told me this, and it was the point of difference. And there's so many people that, and I've heard them. They say, I'm going to get you X a month, and then go, keep going.
Yep. Yep. So 3 is usually the average for most PR agencies. Again, when we built this agency out, it was all about advocating for every single person who comes on board. So we average 8 to 12 placements a month, which is unheard of. Like there's nobody in the game at all that does that. And we have a team that works very, very hard to make sure that every client leaves going, oh my gosh. Now, the good thing is we've never once had a client not renewed, right? Everyone's on a retainer. We've never had a client walk away. And the reason why is because we make sure everyone's happy. We make sure we go above and beyond to help individuals not only hit their goals, but to crush them. And on top of it, we also sprinkle in a lot of other elements. So instead of just PR, there's media training involved. We create full-blown like strategies. So let's say you're appearing on NBC. Our team will go in and you get a beautiful deck with like times, deliverables, who you're going to meet, their phone number, what you need to wear, a whole style guide. Like we literally make the whole process very white glove, very easy, and very fun as well.
So Dominique,
yeah,
I'm going to ask you one more time. Who doesn't need this? Who in the
Nobody.
world?
Everybody needs it.
Is there anyone out there with a business that doesn't need this?
No. Bill Gates, whether you like him or not, I know people tend to be on different sides of that, but just factually speaking, he said at the end, if he only had his last dollar, he would spend it on public relations. And the reason why it's important is because, let me explain it like this. PR is the quickest way to scale your business and your personal brand, bar none. It is the fastest way to do it because when you have a story, game plan, strategy, and a team behind you, Luxure, we have a team of 40. So when you have a whole team behind you, making sure that you are presented properly, you reach your target audience like that. So imagine if you have a brand and now all of a sudden you're being positioned in front of 100,000, 200,000, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million people that love what you do. All of a sudden, you're now getting eyeballs of interest reaching out to you, calling you, etc. Now, every case is different. Every story is different, but you're now reaching your ideal avatar in one opportunity. And the reason why media is so cool is because it lives forever. So let's say television, for example. So if you're on TV, let's just say TV, for instance, you do one appearance. That appearance is anywhere from 90 seconds to 4.5 minutes, depending on what show, what they're looking for, etc. So you have a small window of time, which really is a lot of time in TV land. So that segment airs, oftentimes it's repurposed. So it might air again later that day or that weekend. On top of that, that segment now goes on the website. So your story is now international, has international reach by default because it's on a website. On top of that, they're going to take that content, batch it, and put it on their social media. So now you're reaching the whole population that's into the digital space, right? They would prefer to just read it on their phone as opposed to watching the local news. So now you're tapping into all of these different outlets. And on top of it, we see this happen often with clients. A story might air, and then 6-7 months later, that same story might get shared by someone who's famous or someone who's like in the medical profession or someone who has a big audience because they liked the article. And then you'll see their numbers spike again because all of a sudden they got picked up and pushed back out to a large audience. So one small opportunity that takes a tiny bit of your time now lives forever and keeps connecting you with the right people over and over and over and over again. And then on top of that, once it airs, you can take it, post it on your social media, post it on your YouTube account. And now all of a sudden you're really growing and scaling very quickly. So very little time, huge ROI, huge ROI.
Dominique, can you speak directly to Jerome Myers? He's a friend of mine. He reached out the other day and he's constantly asking me about, we're back and forth when we have friends. He was at Secret Knock. I don't know if you got a chance to meet him. But when we see someone who's a master at what they do, we like to share them with each other. And could you speak to him into screen and tell him why he needs to be hanging out with the media masterynow.com and with luxuregroup.com?
Oh my gosh. Jerome, hi. Nice to meet you virtually. I know we met in... I literally had something in my throat. Take 2.
I love it. I
Life
love it.
coaching. Sorry, Jerome. You just took my breath away. Oh my goodness. Hi, Jerome. This is Dominique. First and foremost, want to speak to you directly. I know you and I met in San Diego at Secret Knock, and hopefully you'll be at Secret Knock too as well. But wanted to chat with you about moving forward in terms of your visibility. There's no greater way if you're looking to grow literally in every sense of the word. You want to scale, you want to make more money, you want to grow your audience, you want to build your community. The quickest way to do it is by way of media. And not only that, it's a lot of fun as well. You know, imagine waking up knowing that you have a big TV appearance, getting dressed, walking into the studio, sitting down, getting your coffee, getting mic'd up. It's an experience all in itself. So media is one of the greatest ways to do it. If you're looking to build your authority, if you're looking to level up and just really hit it out of the park, I highly recommend that you look into media for scaling your business and your brand.
She's so humble. She wasn't like, you have to work with me. But I'm telling the whole world right now, if you're not working with Dominique, you're doing your business and yourself a disservice. As I'm sitting here, I'm thinking like, I feel like I should be running a telethon, that we should have phones, and be like, yo, this one's for Dominique. Can we get and when I say this too, I know you don't work with every single person. And we talked about this. There's things that you look at and you say, because there's everybody today wants to tell you, I want to blow up. I want to be the next influencer. I want to be the next. What are some of the traits that a person can help themselves to understand before they go down that road that you see, you know, that would kind of, you know, tell them to kind of pump the brakes a little bit? What are some of the traits that you're seeing with people?
Well, humility is a beautiful thing. And I'll say it again, humility is everything. So as we move forward with our program, so like Media Mastery Now, you want to do the boot camp, everyone's welcome. You want to do the next level, everyone's welcome. You want to do the accelerator, that's the event in Tampa, that's where you work directly with me and my team, like face to face. And you're on all these different TV things, right? We do that together. That's something that you have to actually get approved for, because I don't work with everybody on purpose, because there's a couple of things that for me that are very important. Number one, I want to work with people who truly want it. I want to work with people who are like, I just want to figure this out, and they have a good reason behind it. It's not just to be famous, you know, it's not that, but there's a real story behind it. Like, why do you want to do this? Of course you want visibility. Let's be honest. Everyone wants visibility. So that's great. And I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for what? Like, what's the point behind it? Like, what do you want to do? Is it to scale your business, your brand? Is it to reach a larger audience? Are you more impact driven? What is it? Like, what is the reason behind that? Number two, with my team, we do a lot of Q&A. So like with Luxure especially, so Luxure is our retainer-based PR agency. We have to understand where you want to go and make sure that there's synergy, because what we don't want to have is someone who comes in, to your example, and they want to be Oprah, not meet Oprah, they want to be Oprah in 2 months, and that's just what they want to do, right? Like, because they want to be Oprah. And so we have to make sure that the expectations are realistic, that, you know, again, I've never lost a client for a reason, because we deliver every single time. So if someone's idea is just so outlandish, like, oh, I want to be here next week. Well, obviously nobody can do that. Not just I can't, nobody can do that. And so for me, it's not about taking someone's money and just, you know, no, if it's something that's not a good fit or not a good synergy, then we'll just say it's not a good fit at this time, you know? So that's really important for me. I want someone who's going to take it seriously, someone who's going to have a ton of fun and trust myself and my team, because we never steer you wrong, right? So if we're like, hey, let's work on this or try this, obviously collaboration's a beautiful thing, and we want to make sure everyone's on the same page. We'll never put someone in a position or telling a story they don't want to tell or anything like that. But we want to make sure that feedback is accepted, because feedback is a gift, right? Because we want to help you grow. So you take that first opportunity, you leverage it for the second, you leverage that for the third, you leverage that for the 10th, the 30th, the 80th, right? That's how it works. So you have to understand that there is a big strategy and a game plan behind that. So there's a lot of learning and listening in the beginning, right? Like, hey, let's position you this way. What do you think? A lot of collaboration, because that's how we get you to the top.
every single person wants you on every week on the podcast, by the way, Dominique. I mean, in the event that we could now, not to say listeners out there that we're going to be able to make this happen, but I told Dominique that I'm going to force her to be my friend for the rest of her life. The content is ridiculous, and it's not the content. It's the fact that you're just speaking from your heart. This is not some robotic system. This is what Dominique lives. And that's why I absolutely love it. And I mean, my hat's off to you. I started the podcast, Dominique, because of my 2 children. And I wanted to take iconic people like yourself that have 3 Emmys and that have all these accolades, best-selling author, top-rated keynote speaker. You have an accelerator that if you get in right now, then you can, but if not, if you pause, then you won't get into it. I wanted to take a person like you, and I wanted to show McKenna and Maddox that you're not a superhero, that you're just a human being that has a phenomenal attitude and an amazing work ethic. McKenna is 13 years old. Maddox is 10 years old. What advice would you give to Maddox and McKenna? And if you could use both their names, it would be awesome.
Oh, Maddox and McKenna. Oh, you're going to choke me up here. So obviously I'm a mom. So, oh, wow. That's powerful, Kelly. Wow. The best advice, Maddox and McKenna, that I can give you was a lesson and a quote that one of my mentors told me years ago. And it stuck with me. It actually changed my life. And he said to me, he said, Dominique, don't chase money, chase excellence. And I want to attribute that. That was Jeff Hoffman, who is the co-founder of Priceline.com. And he said to me, he goes, Dominique, don't chase money, chase excellence. Maddox and McKenna, we live in a world where people are so focused on money. They're so focused on these things that don't matter. And I promise you, they don't. What matters is your mindset. It's your confidence. It's your love of family and faith and your parents and everything that you do. That's what makes you happy. That's what brings you happiness. And I know we live in this world with all the social media and the videos and the music videos where people tell you that it's all about money. It's all about having chains and cars and vacations and all this stuff and partying. And it's not about that at all. That is an illusion that is so inaccurate. It's all about understanding thyself. It's all about chasing excellence, right? So if I can leave you with anything as you go down this journey of life, I don't want you to focus on all that stuff. Don't focus on videos. Don't focus on money. Don't focus on, because I promise you it doesn't make you happy. Focus on being excellent, whatever that means to you. Whatever that means to you. I don't care what it means. What is excellence to you? I want you to define that. And then once you define what excellence is for you, I want you to live it. And don't worry about what you think other people think, because it doesn't matter. Just worry about what you think. What you think, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and be excellent. Because when you're excellent, you can sleep well at night. When you're excellent, you feel empowered. When you're excellent, you know that you're making a massive impact in the world. So Maddox and McKenna, that's my advice to you guys.
I think you just solidified to every single person listening or watching why I had Dominique on the show. I mean, you have for the last hour. It's been amazing. And Wayne Freeman, you know who you are. You're out there in Kansas City, and your Kansas City Chiefs got beat. So I'm happy about that because I'm a Titans fan. And he knows this. But Wayne has been riding with me since the very first episode. And he keeps telling me that, how are you going to top the next? This is how I top the next. I have Dominique Murphy on the show, and she drops bombs. Now's the time that every single one of you guys, you know what you need to do. Check out the sponsors, click the links, do all the things. In Dominique's bio, I'm going to have all her information. Click her website, check out her website. And remember, guys, there's not a person out there. She said only children and only dogs are the only person that wouldn't, benefit from having media. But there's some of you that a dog could be good for you, and your children could be good in the media too. So I believe it's for every single person out there. Dominique, you have been absolutely phenomenal, exceeded expectation. I mean, not only are you so physically beautiful, it's ridiculous, but I understand now where it comes from, and it comes from your heart, and it comes from the inside. And my hat's off to you, because there's very, very few people like you in this world. And more and more, and the whole world knows about you anyway, but more and more people in the world need to know about you because they need to be inspired to be great people as opposed to doing great things.
Wow. Powerful. Kelly, absolute honor. Thank you for having me on today.
You're amazing, and you're officially off the hot seat.